me some ice. Skin me a peach and save the fuzz for my pillow. Poach me a prawns, talk to me nice, you got to wine me. Anytime I'm getting hungry, peel me a grape.
I'm Laura Bonicelli, and we are cooking with Italian style. It's not always fast, it's not always easy, and it's not always Italian. We use the freshest and finest ingredients that we can find and afford, and we not only savor the meals we make, but we savor making them. That's cooking with Italian style. This week, we're making my plank grilled salmon seasoned with coriander and fennel, couscous with roasted peppers, and Italian marinated vegetables. It is super good and super good for you. Let's get cooking. It is finally spring in Minnesota, and I wanted to put together a menu, a super healthful menu, that included one of my favorite ways of serving vegetables. That is to blanch them and marinate them, Italian style. So I have my little workstation here. I have a huge pot of boiling water, an ice and water bath, cold water, and then a baking sheet with some paper towels to drain the vegetables on. So I'm going to start with my vegetables. I have some asparagus that I snapped the ends off of, some broccolini, and broccolini is actually a cross between broccoli and Chinese kale, and I included the stems in this. I cut those up as well, they're edible, and then some haricots verts. I'm going to start with putting my asparagus into the boiling water. So I'm dropping these right in to the water. I'll give them just a quick stir, and they'll go for just a minute to a minute and a half. So these were just about a minute because they are pretty thin. Take them and put them right into my ice bath. That stops the cooking and keeps them crisp tender. And look at what a beautiful bright green color they are. Now I'm going to pull these out. They have been in there for about 3 minutes, and then you need to get them out of the water, but the cooking is completely stopped. And now what I'm going to do is the exact same thing with my broccolini and haricots verts. Now to arrange these, I've got a clear glass serving dish that I'm going to put these in. And I want to keep them separate because it plays off on the textures, because everything is this beautiful bright green. And now the broccolini. Just beautiful. And my asparagus. So, get the rest of these guys out there. Isn't that pretty? Great. And then to add that, I'm going to add 3 tablespoons of roughly chopped parsley, 3 tablespoons of chopped mint, and 2 cloves of very roughly chopped garlic. Great. And now I'm going to pour in some olive oil, about 1/2 cup. And then a tablespoon and a half or so of coarse sea salt. Some of that will dissolve and some of it will just retain its beautiful crunch. And then I'm going to zest in 3 Myers lemons. Myers lemons are a cross between oranges and lemons. Notice the beautiful color. And when you zest, you don't want the yellow part, or excuse me, you don't want the white part, you only want the yellow part. I'm choosing these right through a little strainer so I do not have to worry about the seeds. This is my last one right here. And then what I'm going to do to get this finished is I'm going to toss this around a little bit with my hands just to coat it and put it in the fridge and get on to my salmon and couscous. So I'm toasting a couple of teaspoons of fennel and coriander seeds. And you'll know they are done when they get really fragrant. And I have to keep your eye on them. They get really fragrant and start to smoke, and you know. And then I'll grind them up in my mortar and pestle, and I've got my couscous back there on the stove. I made it just according to package directions. And what couscous is actually a pasta made with semolina flour. It's not a grain. I made it to package directions, but I used chicken broth, homemade chicken broth, instead of just water. Okay, these are ready to go, and I'm going to grind these up into my mortar and pestle. They This smells amazing. And I want this not too fine, so it'll take me just a little bit longer. I want to add a little color to my couscous, so I chopped up a red and a yellow pepper, and I'm just going to put those in the toaster oven, 425 degrees, for about 20 to 25 minutes. A little salt and a little freshly ground black pepper, and then of course some olive oil. Just drizzle that right around there. I'll toss these up with my hands and put them in the toaster oven. It smells so good. So I'm mixing up, finishing my little spice mix here. This is my coriander and fennel. I can smell and hear my vegetables roasting in the background. To that I'm adding a little salt and some freshly ground black pepper. Just mix that up. I've already got my hands in there. Okay. Now, my salmon is on a cedar plank. The cedar plank I bought at a specialty food store. It's not from the lumber yard. You can't do that. It needs to be an actual plank that's for cooking so it doesn't have a bunch of preservatives in the wood. And then I'm brushing my salmon fillets. This is Alaskan caught wild salmon, and I'm brushing them with a little bit of olive oil, like so. And the plank I soaked for about a half an hour. You have to do that for at least 10 minutes to keep it from burning on the grill. And now, sprinkling on my spice mix. Beautiful. Then what I'm going to do with these, my grill's all set. I'm going to grill these indirectly, so I'm going to set them right between the two baskets of coals. And they'll cook, in about maybe 10 to 12 minutes. You can tell the salmon is done when it gets opaque and flaky. And this is absolutely perfect. And the smell of that cedar plank with those spices is making me hungry. Now my couscous, I finished off with about 3 tablespoons of chopped cilantro, the zest of one of my Myers lemons, and my roasted vegetables and a little salt. And to plate this, actually first I think I'm going to taste it. Yum. I am hungry. To plate this, I'm just going to, this is serving for 2. Look at all of that color. Isn't that beautiful? Of course, the platter's rather colorful too, isn't it? Just a nice, large bed. Like that. Great. Now for my salmon, there's skin on this. And we're just going to take our spatula and slide right around along the bottom, like so. And hopefully, for the most part, yep, worked perfectly. The skin stays behind. We'll set that right on our bed. Get this other one going. Great. Almost there. Got it. Beautiful. If you want these recipes and more, go to my website, solobabonicelli.com, and look under the recipe section. I really hope you enjoy making my plank grilled salmon with marinated vegetables and couscous and cooking with Italian style. Buon appetito!